On December 4, 1872, the merchant brigantine Dei Grazie spotted a lone vessel drifting aimlessly through the choppy waters of the Atlantic, its sails tattered but its hull strangely intact. As they drew closer, the silence from the Mary Celeste was deafening, a hollow void where the lively chatter of a working crew should have been. The boarding party climbed onto the deck, half expecting to find a captain in his quarters or a sailor on watch, but they were met with an eerie, lingering stillness. Think about that for a second, a ship of this size, drifting in the middle of the ocean, yet completely devoid of human life. The cargo hold was still packed with over 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol, a fortune in trade goods, left untouched and protected from the elements. In the galley, there were half-eaten meals, as if the crew had simply decided to step away for a moment and never return to finish their supper. And here is where it gets disturbing: the ship's personal belongings, diaries, and even the captain's pipe remained exactly where they were left. There was no sign of a struggle, no bloodstains on the mahogany, and no indication that pirates had boarded to claim the vessel's riches. So, what could have possibly possessed the captain, Benjamin Briggs, to order his family and crew into a small, fragile lifeboat in the middle of a vast, unforgiving sea? It defies all logic, yet the evidence suggests a sudden, panicked departure that remains unparalleled in maritime records. Some point to the industrial alcohol as the culprit, suggesting a volatile vapor leak caused an explosion that terrified the crew into abandoning ship before the flames took hold. But the ship shows no scorch marks, no damage from any pressure release, leaving that theory to wither in the salt air. Could a rogue wave have struck them, forcing a desperate evacuation that went horribly wrong? But a ship built to withstand the North Atlantic doesn't just sink or become unseaworthy in a blink, and this one was perfectly sound. Perhaps there was a mutiny, a dark confrontation hidden beneath the floorboards that resulted in a clean sweep of the personnel. But where would they go? The nearest land was hundreds of miles of freezing water away, an impossible journey for any man to make by chance. The captain's log was recovered, with the final entry dated 10 days before the discovery, noting nothing but routine sailing conditions. There was no distress call, no cry for help, only the empty, haunting expanse of the open ocean whispering secrets to the waves. People have suggested sea monsters, waterspouts, and even alien abduction, grasping for answers in a story that refuses to be explained. Yet, the truth might be far simpler and far more terrifying: a psychological snap, a sudden collective fear that pushed them into the deep. Think of the isolation, the endless horizon, the sound of wood groaning against the relentless pressure of the tide. It wears a man down, slowly, until the slightest sound becomes an omen, and the stillness becomes a prison. Did they fear the ship itself was turning against them, a wooden vessel haunted by its own history? History books try to categorize it as an insurance fraud scheme, yet that theory falls apart under the weight of the missing crew's fate. If it were a fraud, why leave behind the potential for rescue? Why walk away from the very thing that provided a living? No, this was something else, something that demanded their immediate presence elsewhere, in a place where only the water could follow them. Even today, researchers scour old archives, hoping to find a fragment of a letter or a whisper from a descendant that might crack the case wide open. But the archives remain silent, much like the Mary Celeste herself when she was first found floating into the fog. The ship was sold, renamed, and eventually wrecked on a reef, perhaps trying to finally end its cursed reputation. Yet, the story persists, fueled by the cold fact that 10 people vanished, and not a single shred of them was ever seen again. Was it a supernatural occurrence, or simply a sequence of events so bizarre they defy human comprehension? We are left with the cold reality of an empty deck, an untouched meal, and a question that echoes through every mile of the Atlantic. Whatever truly happened that day, it remains buried in the silence of the sea, a mystery that will haunt us as long as there are ships to sail. The sea does not give up its dead, and it certainly does not explain why they left their lives behind. Maybe some doors are meant to remain closed, and some disappearances are never meant to be resolved. What do you believe happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste, or do you think some things are better left unsolved? The ocean is a vast, uncaring witness, and its secrets are as deep as the trenches where the answers lie. Stay vigilant, for history is rarely what it seems, and the most frightening stories are the ones that never end.